Ladies and gentlemen, how to choose a perfect artist name, complete guide 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. I don't have budget, so you have to imagine that there's text on the screen. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna tell you what happened that I have found out my perfect artist name and how you can do this yourself, because I've gone through hell and hours, no, not even hours, like more like hundreds of hours of looking for a perfect artist name, and I was not able to find one. But how did I end up actually choosing something that I'm satisfied with? Well, there's mainly one rule. Do not choose anything stupid, anything weird, anything cringy, anything, yeah, that's mainly it. Anything like strange, weird, do not choose anything like that. For example, I was in high school and I messaged my friend and I told him that, bro, I finally found an artist name and here's what it is. I did not know English too well, so I was like, here's what the name is. And the name was Cringe. And I'm like, bro, this looks cool. It sounds cool. What do you think about that? I'm glad I didn't choose it now, because it would be very cringe, you know? I don't remember what he said, but so basically don't choose anything stupid like this that you're gonna regret. Find something that you are fine with the most. Don't pick anything edgy either. At one point you may like it, but at another point you may look at it, it's like, that's just so weird, it's complete, you know? Complete nonsense. The thing with finding an artist name is that you pick one, you start releasing songs, you start to grow that artist name, and that artist name becomes a persona that matters, and the artist name does not really matter, you know? It starts to become like a brand. So like, for example, you look at Spotify and you can totally find like weird artist names, but they look completely fine because people have nice profile pages and they gain a lot of streams, and they have a certain sound too. They have a certain appearance. The artist name presents themselves in a certain way. So first of all, my artist name is Aiden Williams. I have two nicknames, right? Aiden Williams and Oversampled. But the nickname Aiden Williams, I was looking for like, I did not know what to produce. It was like 2014, 2015, 16 maybe. I did not know what genre I'm gonna be producing. Maybe house. I was looking at people in the house industry, what names they have. There was like Oliver Heldens, for example. I was like, that sounds cool. That's a cool name. That's what I liked at the moment. So I crafted something that was supposed to be for house. And I had these beliefs in my head that in order for me to make dubstep, because it was like, well, maybe it's gonna be house, maybe it's gonna be dubstep. In order for me to make dubstep, I need something that's not gonna sound like a first and last name. First and last name, it's kind of just a normal name, you know, and you gotta pick some nickname that's gonna be more complicated, more unique, and it's not gonna be really a name like Virtual Riot, Skrillex, Space Laces, Zomboy. Although now if I think about Zomboy, it's kind of cringe, like Zomboy, a boy, you know, or like Barely Alive, for example, mainly Virtual Riot, right? It's like the best name that you could have, probably. And I was like, how the hell am I gonna find that, but with different letters, you know? It seemed to me like if I want to make dubstep, I need to have some sort of unique custom nickname, and it cannot be, you know, just a normal name. But now it does not matter at all. You know, it don't matter. It was a complete nonsense. It's like, if you look at my page at Spotify, you see that there is a certain persona and a certain brand is being made. It does not matter what the nickname is. I mean, if it was super cringe, then maybe it would matter, but it doesn't matter. It's not cringe. It has a certain badass feel, which is something that I was looking for when I was looking for a name initially. It has like aura, if you look about it. That's how, you know, you craft the character, and the way it presents itself, it looks good. So the name does not really matter that much, and I don't really care. I thought I'm gonna change it at some point, you know, find the name that's going to be custom, unique, and it's not going to be first and last name. Just normal name is going to be, you know what I mean? But it does not matter, you know. I already released dubstep heavy songs. It's getting views, and it became a persona that is unique, and it exists as an individual, if you know what I mean. It's like unique enough to exist as something kind of real. No need to change anything anymore. But I remember I was looking for that perfect fucking name that's going to be custom, and it's going to be not first last name. I looked to so many different names, like hundreds of them, or maybe even thousands. I had notepads of names, lists of names, and I was thinking about what I could do, trying to find with my brain the solution to this problem, trying to analyze how to find it, and like look at the situation from different angles. I failed. I didn't find anything. Every single one was not good enough, you know what I mean? But I'm sure if I picked one of them and I build it to be a certain brand with a certain appearance, with a certain persona, I know that that would just change completely and the name would start to gain meaning. You know, it's like all these names, they don't really mean nothing. When you just look at the list, it's like it doesn't point to anybody. It doesn't point to the style of music. It doesn't exist as a persona. It's like soulless, you know what I mean? But when you pick one, as you start building it, you will see that the name starts to gain soul and starts to gain personality. And once it gains personality, the name itself loses importance. That's kind of the solution, I would say. So the same thing happened with Oversampled, right? Again, I have a YouTube channel. I was looking for the name. What's the perfect name? Initial name was Incorrect Musician because I was just like making, jokes. But I was like, kind of the name is like 2 words and it kind of sounds weird. And I didn't like it that much. So at some point, I think there's even a video on YouTube. I switched to Oversampled because I saw a company named Samplified. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. So I'm going to take that idea, flip it, and like oversampled because like samples, sample box. So oversampled, if it already has a certain meaning to it, that's cool too. That can help. Like it has a certain story behind it, that's cool. I would say ultimately whatever the story is, whatever the name is, if the character and the person that name becomes, if it's shit, the name is going to be shit. It does not matter, you know? If it's a good music, if it presents itself nicely, if it's not a piece of shit, it will be good. But if it's a piece of shit, because I have one dude that I talked to, and he's been such an asshole, at some point, and he has a page on Spotify, and I looked it up one day, and I'm like, no matter what the name you choose, you still are a piece of shit, It doesn't not matter whether your name is good or not. To me, even if you build it to be something else, it's gonna suck, you know what I mean? Samplified, got inspired, oversampled, because making sample packs, that's the name. I was like, well, oversample it's not as good as, Cymatics, for example, or other brands. But now I'm like, look at Cymatics. I see the people running this. I'm like, well, doesn't seem so good anymore. Cymatics, because I was starting aspiring sample pack company. I was like looking up to them, like, bro, they are so amazing. Cymatics, it means so much. It's such a powerful name. No, I don't like it anymore, actually, and I don't like the people behind it. Not really. So oversampled, I was like, at some point I'm gonna change that name, right? It's not a perfect name. Here's what the thing is. Like, you initially think it's not a perfect name, but at some point the name itself stops being important, and then you're like, yeah, the name doesn't matter. It's good. It's good. It don't matter. You don't even question whether it's good or not because it doesn't matter. So I look at Oversample, nothing bad about it. Here's the deal. You can have the coolest name but make the shittest music. It does not, like, the name's not gonna be as good. Like Noctu, for example. It's like Noctu. So basic, so generic, but I look at it in my liked song, it's like, oh yeah, that's a dude who like makes bangers, and the name has suddenly impact behind it, And there are certainly cringy names that you don't even realize are cringy because they make good music and you don't care. All of these artists have a certain persona behind them. Like Must Die, for example. It's not just a name. It's a persona behind. That's what matters mainly when it comes to finding an artist name. That's it. You know what I mean? I look at the Spotify right now. I look at the different names, and I see that every single one of them that I like has a certain feeling behind them. Every single name that I look at, like Barely Alive, has a certain feeling behind them. I can literally feel it. The music, the persona behind them. It's like every single person has a certain feeling. If you interact with them or think about them, they have like a certain feeling, and every single person has a different feeling. Here's the same thing. Barely Alive has a certain feeling. Visual Riot has a certain feeling. Skrillex has a certain feeling. Ace Aura has a certain feeling. Hole has a certain feeling. Zomboy has a certain feeling. It's all unique. Chime has a certain feeling. It's also a person behind that stuff that gives that feeling as well. But also music and all the character presents itself. It's all like connected. So I would say if you're looking for a perfect one, the name becomes perfect after some time, but initially I don't think maybe you will find some, maybe it depends on the person and situation. Maybe you will find one that has a certain meaning behind it and you instantly like it or something. But I would say for me, when I had these big lists, none of them were perfect. None of them. None. But I'm glad I chose Aiden Williams. It slaps. It wasn't as good before. But when you write them down, unless a name has a certain, maybe you're gonna be lucky and you're gonna come up with something that you really, really like, then the choice is gonna be simple. But I guess if you're watching this video, maybe you're struggling, right? So you're probably writing down a lot of different names and you don't like any of them. None of them is perfect. You maybe like a lot of them, but you can't choose. And I get it why you can't choose, because it's a commitment. You choose and then you cannot change it because Spotify doesn't allow for that. It's not easy. You probably can't do it without any issues. You would have to create a new one. So I would say pick one and start to create a persona behind it. Images, songs. You will start to see that the name starts to get more meaning, and then, you know, try different names maybe. So my name was like the best of all of them, but it wasn't perfect. It was not. But now it's good. Beyond that, a lot of people just choose words because they have a certain story behind them and they have certain meaning already. I did not have anything like this. I was just making up words that look good and that sound good, that somehow have a meaning but not necessarily. And I was looking for, I could not find anything, you know what I mean? But I did make a long list and picked the one that I liked the most and then made a persona behind it, and it worked. So I would say that's mainly the path for that. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions or anything, let me know in the comments. Hope you find the goddamn artist name. I know it's real hard. Take care. See you soon. This video has been brought to you by Oversampled.us, premium sample and preset packs. Sound selection is very important, and we always aim at creating the highest quality sounds possible to help you make professional songs in as easy as drag and drop way with no extra processing needed. We're offering sounds in many different genres. Our most loved packs are the Ultimate Future Bass Toolkit, Cyberpack, Polychrome, and Super Heavy Drums. If you want to sound like your favorite artists, we have packs like Volcano, Castles, Portify, and Resurrection. And if you're in need of quality drums for your songs, don't look any further than our Super Heavy collection with over 2,800 samples in total if purchased in a bundle that will cover all your drum needs. Our most recent pack is sound enhancers, including lots of ear candies, fillers, layers, and more, all to make your songs more interesting. Visit Oversampled.us and get sounds that'll make you a better producer.